Welcome back to another episode of Bourbon and Ash. Stay tuned as we talk about how a birth of a daughter leads to a birth of a bourbon.
Yo no sabía que tú eras así. Te juro que ahora me cae mejor. Me contaron muchas cosas de ti, pero eres más igual puta que yo. Es de hacer, no es de hablar. Suelta el cel pa' perrear, pa' Twitter y pa' entonar. Yeah.
All right, welcome back, people. Excited about today's episode.
Absolutely.
Penelope Bourbon is owned by MGP.
It is now owned by NGP.
They were first sourced originally by Mike and his friend Danny.
Mike and Danny founded the company. So they founded the company. They were not producing. They're still not producing their own juice. However, they sourced it. MGP. Long story short, when they were going through the process of MGP, they came up on two different barrels, two different mash builds. They could not decide, so they said, you know what, we're going to go ahead and take these two barrels, we're going to blend them, and that is going to be our mash build. So this is a 4-grain. It has wheat, it has rye, it has obviously your corn, and it also has your barley, right? It's a 4-grain. It's considered a 4-grain. Within the last year, they were sourcing through MGP. MGP came back and says, "Hey, we want to purchase your brand." So now it's an in-house MGP brand. They are owned now by MGP. Obviously, still doing the same mash build. They've put out. There's 4 or 5 different expressions, one being that they finish in their rosé, the rosé wine. They also do a French oak, the Pinnacle. The Pinnacle is finished in their French oak. They have the toasted barrel. They do have a rye that's also toasted, and the original. Since then, it finally has come to Kansas. We were super excited. I'm sure a lot of you have heard about it. Maybe you've already had it. However, it had not come to Kansas, and here it is. It's on our table. It's here. It's local. It's available locally. That's what I should say.
Yeah, so I'm excited. And so before we skip ahead a little bit, I want to discuss the name. So back in 2016, 2017, co-founder Danny and his buddy Mike started this company, again, based on their love of bourbon.
Correct.
However, it was Mike Paladin and his wife Carrie who ended up giving birth to their first daughter, who was named Penelope. And it was by that name that they decided to name their bourbon Penelope. So again, I've never had it. I've heard great things about it. I've read great reviews about it. I'm excited that it's now in Kansas. MSRP on this bottle, you're going to find it anywhere between $80 and $90. Just depends on where you're at in the country. It's a toasted, so even though it's sourced MGP and now the MGP owns it officially, it's bottled by Bardstown, I believe, in Kentucky. And then they basically put it in a higher level char barrel.
So that is part of their finish. So they are finishing. That is what's very unique about them. They're picking different woods, different chars, different finishes. Whether it's a wine, I don't know if they've done a rum or a sherry or any of those. I'm not 100% sure on those. Obviously, it's a pretty new brand. They've been doing a great job with what they have right now, and we were lucky to get the toasted here. So, yeah.
And it's a fantastic looking bottle.
It is.
I kind of have a thing for the taller wine looking bottles. It's got some beautiful flowers on the bottle itself.
That's a marketing thing.
It's great.
They like to market the tall bottles because they will more than likely at most retailer stores, they only end up in the top shelf.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all about space. So kudos to them for catching on that and making sure that they would end up on a higher shelf. Yeah, a couple of boys out of New Jersey. Pretty cool. All right, let's get into this. Let's find out what we've got. The colors are very, very pretty.
This is on the darker end of, the amber. It's not gold. It's almost a medium brown, like a chocolate maybe.
This is almost like a fall honey. That reminds me of a darker hue.
Well, it has an amazing smell. I could smell it just bringing it to my nose before it even got there.
Well, as soon as he cracked the bottle, I could smell it.
Yes.
It's got a very powerful smell. I smell smoke and vanilla.
The toasted.
It's very prominent in the smell.
Yeah, I got a lot of oak forward, a lot of wood.
I do get wood.
I do get the vanilla.
Charred wood.
Get a little bit of chocolate finish, maybe. Sweet.
I get a little bit more pepper kind of smell to that because I would.
All right, so before we go any further, let's just make a short cheers.
Absolutely.
To all of our viewers, everybody at home watching this, we appreciate all your support. Cheers.
Para Dios, tu familia y tus amigos. Salud.
Salud.
Okay.
Cinnamon. Cinnamon.
Lots of cinnamon.
Cinnamon.
Lots of cinnamon. Ooh.
Ooh.
Wow. It's like the caboose of the train at the very end, huh? It really follows through.
All the way through.
Kentucky hug. It just keeps dropping. It hit me with a lot of spice, a lot of heat of the spice, creating that very rye. To me, it's very rye forward. That's kind of how I interpret that. It's got a lot of spice, a lot of cinnamon, a lot of pepper. It has a lot of pepper. The feel is good. I like the feel. The finish is caliente. It's hot. It really.
It's a slow burn.
It is.
But I get a lot of vanilla in there, especially on the second sip. So the first sip was the cinnamon and the spice and the hug. The second sip was vanilla and a little sweeter. Still had that burn to it, but it did have a little sweetness on the back end.
I've got a lot of cherries and like cocoa. A little bit on that little finish part.
I definitely get some wood. I get some wood finish on that.
A lot of oak.
Yes.
It has some sweetness to it though too.
It is sweet.
It does. It does have some.
It's not
sweetness.
dry. It has that nice.
Almost like a honey.
Yeah, it has that little nice sweetness to it.
Sweet. I mean, not overwhelming.
I was not expecting that.
Not sugar, but
being in a chard, coming out that sweet.
Right.
Oh, that's really good.
Let's get some
So the
cloves.
nose is good. The nose is good. The palate was definitely very rye for me, very rye forward, and it does have some very bold taste to it. It does have a very bold taste. Wasn't completely taken by the finish. I think it could have finished a little better. Overall, it's good.
Okay. You guys had Penelope before. Let us know in the comments. As always, please hit that like, that subscribe, and share our video. We're hoping to get 100 subscribers by the end of this month.
Absolutely.
We just picked up a few more this weekend, so we're pretty excited about that. Thank you for everybody supporting the channel. Ladies, let's go ahead and begin our B&A review. Trisha, I'm kind of curious to where your thought is on this one.
Well, I really like it, but I love toasted and I love rye, and I love anything that's extra charred. So, but the moment it opened, you could smell it. When I was bringing the glass to my nose, like I could smell it out here. I was like, this is going to be a good one. And it's got very bold flavors. I didn't get the Kentucky Hug all the way down, but it's definitely got a little heat to it, almost like cloves and cinnamon. And the color obviously is beautiful. So I like it. I'm going to give it a 9.
Okay, 9. Now, so this is not a Kentucky Hug. This is an Indiana Hug. They are sourced out of Lawrenceburg, Indiana.
Yes, that is correct.
Well, Bardstown's bottling it, so I'm going to go with Kentucky Hug.
Okay, all right. It's the bottling process.
It's the bottling process that gives it the hug.
All right,
Makes sense.
Nicole.
It's spicy, but it does have a little kick of sweet to it, so I'm not going to completely turn it off. I don't necessarily know that I would sit down and just sip this one. It's a little too spicy for that, but you can definitely use it as a mixer, or maybe put a little ice to see what happens to the spice. But yeah, I'm gonna go with 7. It's still got the little sweetness to it, but a little spicy, a little hot.
Okay. So I personally like it. I'm a big toasted guy. I'm not a rye forward guy, and I don't know the mash bill is undisclosed. We just know that there is 4 grains. Based on the floral notes I got immediately, and it being a nice smoother, it does have some spice, but not nearly as much spice it being at 100 proof. Color's fantastic, legs are fantastic, finish is smooth. I don't get much of a hug at all. Maybe my palate is burned out by as much bourbon as I've been drinking. So based on this and being a toasted guy, I'm going to say easily this is an 8 for me.
I agree 100%. So I believe the color is fantastic. The nose was really nice. The palate a little bolder than I expected it, what I was expecting to hit. The mouthfeel, it's good. It's not the greatest in my opinion. So I would say it's definitely an 8 for me. It did what I thought it would do. Not so much on the mouthfeel and the finish, but other than that, it's good.
Yeah, so, no, I wish it was a little bit cheaper. I was kind of hoping this would be in the $60 to $70 range. Again, if I'm comparing this one versus a couple of other toasted that I've enjoyed, it's coming in about the same MSRP, so maybe they're just charging more to sit it in another barrel for an extended period of time. Right. Is Penelope toasted worth the hype? It's a great bourbon. I have no issues with it. It's a little bit more on the higher side. I'd like to see that price come down to reflect kind of where I think that should be. Again, it's great. I think it probably needs to be down in that $70 mark. But having said that, it's fantastic. And we always appreciate your guys' feedback. We want your opinions. And as always, please remember, drink responsibly.
Baby, my